Good morning and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zhang Danqing and I'm the Program Manager in Additive Manufacturing in TÜV SÜD. Thanks for inviting me to give this presentation, and I'm honored to hear at this exciting event. Today, I will be talking about how qualification of AM can be benefit your organization. All right. First, maybe let me give you some background on myself. I'm working in AM for more than 10 years, from R&D work to AM operations, and now to working on AM quality. I have experienced all types of challenges on AM along the way, and now I would like to share with you some of our solutions on the challenges that AM production work is facing. All right. This is the agenda on the topics that I'm going to talk about today. It has 5 topics, and let's start with a little bit market analysis as I'm opening first. So you may ask the first question, there are so many technologies on market, why AM? Although we are convinced it to work on AM, but there are numbers. So the graphs is extracted from Wallace reports, which highlight the growth of AM. The increasement is 22.3% from 2018 to 2019 for the market. That means that AM is a fast-growing market and is worth investing efforts as there is opportunities. And secondly, what we noticed from the Wallace report figures is also that there is a transform from prototype to functional parts, which means quality of the parts become more and more important, and the end users start to concern more and more on the quality and consistency than before. That's why ISO ASTM is also addressing this issue by establishing committees like F42 and also TC 261 to meet the newly developed standards and manage the quality become focus for service providers who wants to stay competitive. All right, now let's look at what are the challenges in harnessing AM opportunities for companies who would like to start AM journey or has already started their AM journey. So if companies start to adopt AM, can they improve business from these activities? Before that, there are 4 factors that you will need to address before you can successfully establish your AM production facilities. Now, I have listed 4 considerations, but there might be more. We have seen companies struggling in establishing an efficient and also safe facility that meet the applications. And this is definitely need to be addressed before you would like to set up your facility. All right. Next, let's hear some end users, buyers, the feedbacks. The buyers have some doubts on AM quality. There are some feedbacks from them. Is it cost versus benefit justified? Can this AM parts fit its intended use application? Is the AM parts as doable as conventional parts? Am I getting the same quality as the first golden prototype? Or am I fulfilling regulatory requirements, if any? So what we see is that trust in AM is a big concern when buyers would like to purchase and use AM parts for their applications. Then let's look at how does trust in AM look like. So the first step is prototypes. It is not an issue in gaining trust for prototypes in AM because the reproducibility is not considered. However, due to complexity and uncertainty of the process, it is hard to make sure the parts consistently meeting the requirements and quality. When we are referring to production or functional AM parts, quality become a concern in trust of AM. That's why a dedicated quality management system is definitely needed to address the trust in AM in serious production. All right, let's look at what is stopping suppliers from providing a production quality and consistency to gain buyers' trust. Here are some feedbacks we understand from the service providers of AM parts. The concern is my customer doesn't ask for it. I audit exposes my weakness and casts doubts. I have no resources or knowledge to build a quality management system, or my operating costs will increase to maintain a quality management systems, or I have already have a ISO 9001 or 13485 or AS 9100, which a dedicated AM quality management system will help them to solve all these issues. Let's see why. What does the AM quality management system solve? So firstly, it gains trust from buyer with a third-party independent attribution of capability through a solid industry AM production quality management system. Secondly, it makes meaningful improvements of your people, policies, and processes to get real savings in cost and time from AM certification. And also, it is a step-by-step approach at your own pace without compromising on daily business performance, making it easy to implement. All right, let's go to our number 3 topic. Why is quality important for AM? We all know that AM has a complex and less automated process chain, and there are many factors and control points will eventually affect the final product quality. Let's take powder bed fusion printing as an example. During printing, the powder quality need to be monitored after each build. As we are recycling the powders, the quality of the feedstock has a huge impact in the final product. Also, the powder deposition condition will also affect the quality, which kind of explain why AM is complex and different in this sense. All right. Generally, the quality challenges can be identified into these 3 big areas, which the first one is hardware and software, which refers to the equipment and the CAD/CAM softwares as well as operation softwares that controls the machine. Secondly is the feedstock and materials, which refers to the raw materials or recycled materials used in the process. Thirdly is the process chain, which refers to the whole process from order to product realization. Which last is the product refers to the final product testing and qualification, which today I will be focusing on how to address the process challenge, how dedicated AM quality management system will help you to solve this issue. All right, let's come to the number 4 topic, steps to success in AM implementation. All right, you may ask a question on generally, how do you qualify an AM printed parts? Okay, in general, it can be further categorized into pre-process qualification, in-process qualification, post-process qualification. It contains qualified machine, materials, operators, and finally parts after printing process and after post-processing if there is any. After that, knowing that, how do we speed up industrial AM readiness on a component level? Since we already have a generic quality management system that is setting a baseline for our organization, what should we do to fill the gaps in between? All right, we are using the standard approach that enables industrial grade AM quality assurance based on DIN Spec 17071. We have established our AM facility certification that takes care of your AM process in technical level. All right, what is DIN Spec 17071 in general? It helps the production side and AM parts buyer establish alignment and trust. It is also helps you to establish effectiveness and control AM specific manufacturing processes and manage your qualities and minimum real risks. Now, let's talk about how AM quality management system benefit your organizations. All right. These are a few benefits that I have listed for you to consider. The first is fast and cost-efficient implementation of industrial AM of activities. Secondly is enables a high-quality zero production. Thirdly is stand out from competition with other service providers. Last but not least is fulfilling industrial-specific regulations on process and quality assurance. It is also help you to solve the questions like how to integrate the state-of-the-art standards into the processes and to be prepared for future ones. And also how to reach a reproducible and standardized manufacturing technology, which is comparable to conventional manufacturing. And questions like how to differentiate from competitors and minimize efforts of undergoing a supplier qualification. Here you can see the certified AM production sites that established the dedicated AM quality management system worldwide, which you can see a lot of companies from Europe, also from the US, which they already benefit from the certification implementation. All right, you may have another question is that what's the difference between this AM quality management system versus generic quality management system? In general, it contains more than a generic quality management system to address the complexity of AM processes. Okay, this certification program, it is based on 250 criteria, which creates in accordance with the requirements of OEMs such as Siemens, Deutsche Bahn, MT Aerospace. It is also includes AM specific standards. For example, there is ISO ASTM 52901, which is specific for AM. And also for example, the generic quality management system does not address how AM specific OQPQ is considered robust, but this standard does consider. And also it contains all standards under development, which is specific for AM. For example, the ISO ASTM NWIP 52920-2. Sorry. After knowing the benefit of the certification, let's take a look at an overview and structure of this certification. It mainly have 6 categories: company management, customer management, order management, production management, additive manufacturing, as well as finishing. It also contains AM specific standards over 64%. It is a QMS dedicated to look into details in your AM operations, right? And of course, part testing is also considered and addressed, as 3D parts are not proven in use. Extra testing is required to increase safety margin based on assessment of material process microstructure risk analysis, which is an area we are doing for final product testing. Picture showed an example of multi-jet fusion as well as parts that experience a vibration test in order to compare with the original part. Of course, this is only one of the tests. Here is another example on how we help the local institutions conducting tests for 3D printed nasal swab in terms of the mechanical properties as well as the biocompatibility. All right. Let's go to the last topic, success story for AM certifications. Right. One example is that enabling OEMs like Deutsche Bahn to regulate the supplier market using this established certification. They have trust in their suppliers. It creates alignment of buyers and suppliers. This is what we call the trust in AM productions. It is also helps to approve a safety critical AM parts for a train from a transportation provider, which at this moment, there is no such standards available for approving the critical AM parts. All right, we also look at the process. We have this process certifications address the concerns specifically on machines and materials. which opens the market by certifying the products and systems. All right, this is our first customer in Europe which successfully received the build process certification. We know that for AM implementation, there are uncertainties, and it is also so far still a trial and error approach, which takes years. Missing real experts is also an issue in AM fast adoption. So to summarize, the challenges in AM production can be described as follows. The first is the degree of usage of standardized procedures for approval and quality assurance within AM is still low. And also the industry vertical struggle with AM general standards and also collaborative activities. And thirdly is the validation becomes very cost intensive because the material costs and manufacturing costs is expensive. And lastly is the relatively high cost per part, which also caused by the high equipment cost, also material cost, which we hope to work together in help you to address all your concerns and also to help you with all the challenges. All right, here I end my presentation and thank you all for your attention. All right, lastly, contact us if you have any needs in quality and safety. Let's begin our Q&A section.